Simon, do you have anything you would like to add about these leaders before we just get into the army composition?
Well, I just want to say that the thing with Ulrich von Jungingen is that we actually don't really know if he wanted this war. Yeah, we know that he wanted to expand and strengthen the order, but it's not really known if he actually wanted this war to happen or if he wanted to prevent it, because there was this split in the order with one faction wanting to prevent the war at any cost and the other being more hawkishly and trying to assert their dominance over the region. And yeah, he was kind of in the middle of this and forced to react and just prepare for the inevitable war.
That's something, because I always heard him as more of the war hawk compared to his brother,
Yeah,
who was the previous grandmaster.
okay, I think we're gonna talk a bit later about his brother, but just to say his brother was more diplomatically aligned, but he was still not a peaceful man to say. He was still the leader of a knight order.
True
And
enough. He just had more diplomacy rather than relying on force.
I think it was a lot of circumstances that hit these two guys and sort of gave them the personality over time.
Got it. So I think maybe now we can just take a bit of time and jump into the forces dispositions. Now, the numbers of soldiers that were going to fight in the war very widely, like almost any damn battle in history. And thankfully, it's not as bad as Herodotus claiming, where the 300 Spartans and 5,000 Greek bodies defended against 1.5 billion Persians, right?
You mean that wasn't true?
Oh yeah, but no, what wasn't true, they did not have Oliphophons fighting with them.
But they didn't wear armor, correct?
No,
they went there naked.
Of course.
Yeah, they dressed up as male strippers.
Yeah.
But
Zack Snyder.
back to the Battle of Grunwald order of battle. So the Polish, so there are kind of like two schools of thoughts. The Germanic-based historians have kind of always said that the Poles had a vastly superior number to try to inflate and save image, and the Polish will say, no, we do not have that much superiority. So it's always that general game that is done. And both armies are going to be fighting predominantly on cavalry. The Teutons have relatively more infantry in their army, but the bulk of the forces on all are going to be, on horseback. Now, the numbers have varied. So there are some historians who said that the combined Polish-Lithuanian army was about 16 to 17,000 men and around 11,000 Teutonic Knights. And there was an American historian and another who said it was 100,000 Polish Lithuanians against 35,000 Teutons. And a French historian, oh god, his numbers were even worse. If you take his numbers, it's 250,000 men on the battlefield in a 2-to-1 ratio favoring the Polish Lithuanians. The most commonly accepted figure, though, seems to be around 39 to 40,000 for the Polish Lithuanian Alliance, and about 27, 28,000 men for the Teutonic Order. Now, while they were outnumbered, the Teutons have the qualitative advantage in the terms of their military prowess. While the bulk of their elite knights are probably the best fighting force, they were just a small percentage, but overall the soldiers were well trained, equipped, which gives them a big advantage in the upcoming one-on-one combat. And the Teutonic army also was equipped with bombards that could shoot lead and stone projectiles. That's a new thing. I think we've reached a stage since, anyways, crazy. We knew that there were cannons being used as well. And that was like 50 years ago. Now, both armies did not have just their own troops, but a lot of mercenaries that were going to be fighting for each alliance. And primarily, these come from Silesia and Bohemia. The Bohemians will fight for both sides as mercenaries. Now, for the Teutons, they were joined by soldiers from 22 different states and regions, mostly Germanics. There were soldiers from Westphalia, Frisia, Austria, Swabia, Bavaria. Simon, aren't you from Swabia?
Well, to put it correctly, I am Partner, which is essentially the neighboring region to Swabia, or we are often also called, like, the whole region is often called like the Alemannics.
Fair enough. And so we have these multiple Germanic units also coming as far as Swabia, Bavaria as well. You have Hungarian nobles also bringing in about 400 to 500 men. However, much of probably this was definitely to the Teutonic Order's disappointment, King Sigismund of Hungary sent very little support for this battle. And this is a key figure they were trying to court, either to give blessings, as Simon alluded to earlier, having a powerful king, because I think Sigismund at this time was also the Holy Roman Emperor in 1410.
I'm actually not sure if it was already in 1410, but he would later become Holy Roman Emperor, famously being part of the in the Council of Constance and the burning of Jan Hus.
Yeah, I just checked. I'm corrected on that. He is still 20 years from becoming Holy Roman Emperor, but still a very powerful man in Europe at this moment in time.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the most powerful people you can get as an ally, and they tried a lot to get access to his support, but in the end, he didn't really give much. I think it was like 200 men he sent or something like that.
And I think they were also hoping he would be having a second front by combating Moldova, as he did have a claim to that region, which is currently under Polish Lithuanian control. So not only were they hoping that he sends in soldiers, but he can also open a second front.
Yet there were a lot of border disputes between Hungary and Poland, and they were also constantly fighting each other.
True. And they had paid a sum of, I think, 300, the Teutonics order, 300,000 ducats were paid to King Sigismund for his support in the truce time. And now we can definitely say that it wasn't a good investment.
Yeah, you could say that.
Hindsight's always 2020. The Polish Lithuanians had mercenaries from Moravia and Bohemia. There were also Czechs having banners. And one of these important banners was led by John Sokol of Lamberg. And it is very likely that Jan Žižka, one to be very famous general, was serving and fighting for the Polish-Lithuanian side. And folks, I'll just say this is definitely something we should do in the future. Jan Žižka is going to be one of the most competent military commanders in Europe that took the Middle Ages by storm, practically unbeaten in battle, as he fought the Holy Roman Emperor, Hungary, and the nobility to free the Hussite movement. Now, we also had Moldavia sending its kings, and the king of Moldavia also got like a royal welcome by the Polish-Lithuanian troops, so that's something. Now, Vytautas and the Lithuanians had troops from Lithuania and Ruthenia, and among them were the banners from Smolensk, a Tatar contingent under the future Khan by Jalal al-Din, Armenian cavalry. And so you can see it's a pretty big army in terms of like nationalities. And supreme command was with King Jagiełło, King Władysław, but practical and tactical command was given to Vytautas. And I do have this map I want to just get, which is first, there was this very famous incident that happened is before on the day of the battle. As their armies are positioned, we have the Grand Master sending 2 swords to the commander saying he hopes that they will be willing to face him in battle. It is more of a taunt to them. And I'll tell the aftermath as well. But now this is a map that we have on the army dispositions. As you can see, the red is the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth force, the alliance forces, and the blue represents the Teutonic orders.